What terrible secret has Earth kept from the galactic community? The alarm blared through Lunar Defense Station Alpha, its harsh tone cutting through the normal hum of equipment. Commander Kate Voss jerked awake at her desk, datapad sliding to the floor. 3 hours of sleep in 2 days wasn't enough. "Commander, you need to see this," Lieutenant Diaz said, his face pale under the red emergency lights. Voss rubbed her eyes and followed him to the main control room. The massive screen showed a cluster of red dots moving toward the outer rim of the solar system. "How many?" she asked, her mouth dry. "Over 200 ships. Biggest fleet we've ever tracked." Voss leaned closer to the screen. "Time to reach Pluto outpost? 18 hours if they maintain current speed." She pressed the emergency come button. "This is Commander Voss. All stations to battle readiness." This is not a drill. The room erupted into controlled chaos as officers rushed to their stations. Screens lit up across the wall, showing defense platforms powering up across the lunar surface. "Send the warning to Earth Command and the Galactic Council," Voss ordered. Diaz nodded, fingers flying across his console. "Earth acknowledges. Council. Council is requesting verification." Voss slammed her fist on the console. "Again. Send them the raw data." "All of it?" The main screen flickered, showing the stern face of Ambassador Reeves from the Galactic Council. His perfect suit and calm expression made Voss want to punch him. "Commander Voss, the Council has reviewed your warning and finds it premature." "Premature? There are 200 unknown ships heading straight for us." Reeves sighed. "The Council believes this is another false alarm. Earth has only been part of the galactic community for 8 years. Your paranoia is understandable, but tiresome." A new alert flashed on the side screen. Voss glanced at it and felt her blood freeze. "Ambassador, Pluto outpost just intercepted a signal. Same pattern as the Proxima incident." "The Proxima incident was classified as a natural phenomenon," Reeves said. "Because we didn't tell you the truth," Voss snapped. "Earth has been fighting a shadow war for decades. These aren't random attacks." Reeves' expression hardened. "This is the first I'm hearing of any shadow war. Because your precious council wouldn't listen. Now they're coming in force." The station shook. Warning lights flashed across every console. "What was that?" Voss demanded. "Pacific Defense Platform just activated," Diaz said, voice shaking. "Earth Command has initiated Harbinger Protocol." Reeves' face paled. "What is Harbinger Protocol?" Voss stared at him. "The thing we hoped we'd never need to use." "Ambassador, return to Earth immediately. The Council needs to prepare for war." "The Council does not recognize this threat," Reeves said, but his voice lacked conviction. "Then the Council will die first," Voss replied. "Earth has been preparing for this day since before we joined your community. We warned you something was coming." The screen went dark as another tremor shook the station. Outside the viewport, massive structures rose from the lunar surface. Weapon systems Earth had hidden from their galactic allies. Diaz looked up from his console, eyes wide with fear. "Commander, Earth just sent new orders. We're to activate the entire lunar defense grid." "Do it," Voss said, watching as more red dots appeared on the long-range scanners. "And may God help us all." The emergency shuttle, carrying Ambassador Reeves, shuddered as it entered Earth's atmosphere. Through the viewport, he saw the massive defense platforms rising from the ocean, breaking through the water like metal islands. Weapons he never knew existed pointed skyward, ready for war. In the underground command center beneath Geneva, Admiral John Blackwood stood before the World Security Council. His uniform was crisp, but his eyes showed the strain of sleepless nights. "We need to activate the Harbinger Protocol fully," Blackwood said, his voice firm. "Not just the Pacific Platform." Council President Lena Garcia shook her head. "The Galactic Council will see it as an act of aggression. The Galactic Council is about to have bigger problems," Blackwood replied. He tapped his wrist device, and the wall screen lit up with a classified network status. I've already activated our dormant military grid across the solar system. Garcia's face hardened. Without authorization? I'm not asking permission to save humanity, Blackwood said. I'm telling you what needs to be done. The emergency doors slid open. A young officer rushed in, face pale with shock. Sir, we just lost contact with 3 Galactic Council worlds. Taris Prime, Vega Colony, and Centauri Station. All gone. The room fell silent. Blackwood closed his eyes briefly. How many dead? Garcia asked. Billions, the officer whispered. Blackwood turned to the council. Now do I have your authorization? Before Garcia could answer, the screen flickered. A Galactic Council ship appeared, badly damaged, hull plates torn open to space. The alien face on screen was bleeding from multiple wounds. Earth. We need help, the alien counselor gasped. The enemy, they came without warning. Our defenses failed instantly. Garcia stepped forward. Counselor Vex, we warned you. No time, Vex interrupted. A refugee fleet is heading to your system. It's the only safe place left. Blackwood leaned in. Why is Earth safe when your worlds fell? Your weapons different. Unknown to us? Vex coughed, green blood spattering the screen. We're coming to you. Help us. The transmission cut out. Blackwood turned to Garcia. Now? She nodded grimly. Activate everything. On the lunar base, Commander Voss received new orders. She grabbed her tactical gear and headed for the hangar. Diaz, prep a ship, she ordered. We're going to Mars. Mars? Diaz looked confused. Why Mars? Because that's where we hid the weapon that might save us all. As their ship launched from the lunar surface, Voss saw Earth's hidden fleet emerging from concealed bases on the dark side of the moon. Hundreds of warships, built in secret, moving into defensive positions. In deep space, the first contact with the enemy fleet occurred near Neptune. Earth ships engaged with experimental phase shift technology, their hulls blinking in and out of normal space as they fired weapons that cut through enemy shields. Ambassador Reeves watched the battle feed in horror from Earth Command. How long? He asked Blackwood. How long has Earth been building this military force? Since the first contact 70 years ago, Blackwood said quietly. The contact your council records don't show. 70 years? Reeves stared at him. But Earth only joined the galactic community 8 years ago. We knew what was coming, Blackwood said. We tried to warn you. Now you'll learn what we've been hiding all this time. The room shook as more defense platforms activated around Earth. On the main screen, the enemy fleet grew larger, pushing relentlessly toward the inner solar system. The remains of the galactic fleet limped into Earth orbit, their ships scarred and broken. Behind them, the enemy advanced through the outer planets, unstoppable and merciless. Commander Voss stepped onto the dusty surface of Mars, the red landscape dotted with hidden bunkers. Her team moved quickly toward a ridge that looked like natural rock but wasn't. Scan for entry points, she ordered, checking her oxygen levels. The Martian atmosphere swirled with dust, reducing visibility. Lieutenant Diaz ran his scanner over the ridge. Found it. Hidden scene, just like the briefing said. Voss placed her hand on the rock. A hidden panel lit up, scanning her palm. Commander Catherine Voss. Authorization. Harbinger 7. The rock face slid open, revealing a dark corridor leading down. Lights on. Weapons ready, Voss said, drawing her sidearm. We don't know if the security systems are still active. They moved deeper into the facility, boots echoing on metal floors. The air grew stale as they descended. How long has this been here? Diaz whispered. 50 years, maybe more, Voss replied. Before my time, they reached a massive vault door. Voss entered another code, and it swung open with a hiss of pressurized air. Inside sat a small, unimpressive metal cube. That's it? Diaz asked. That's what we came for? Voss carefully lifted the cube. This contains the data on the enemy's weakness. Our scientists found it decades ago. Back in Earth orbit, Admiral Blackwood watched as the orbital defense platforms revealed themselves. Massive weapons arrays unfolded like metal flowers, technology far beyond what the Galactic Council possessed. Ambassador Reeves stared at the displays in shock. "You had these weapons all along?" "We built them after the first contact," Blackwood said, "when we realized what was coming." On the main screen, the enemy fleet engaged Earth forces near Jupiter. The space around the gas giant lit up with weapons fire. "They're breaking through our outer defenses," an officer reported. Blackwood nodded grimly. "Deploy the Thanatos weapons." "Sir, those are forbidden by—" "Deploy them now." From hidden bases on Jupiter's moons, black missiles launched toward the enemy fleet. Where they hit, enemy ships simply dissolved, consumed by swarms of nanomachines. In the command center, alarms blared as new data came in. "Sir, we've decoded part of their communications," a young analyst said. "They're looking for something specific on Earth." "What?" Blackwood demanded. "Unknown, sir. But they're ignoring evacuation ships. They want something here." On the screen, a massive enemy ship broke through Earth's defensive line. Dozens of Earth vessels moved to intercept, led by Blackwood's flagship. "All ships, this is Admiral Blackwood. Hold the line at all costs. Protect the evacuation of New Centauri colony." His ship shuddered as it took direct hits. Warning lights flashed across the bridge. "Hull breach on decks 3 through 7, his first officer reported. "We can't take another hit like that." "We hold," Blackwood said, "for as long as it takes." On Mars, Voss's team raced back to their ship, cube secured. As they lifted off, Voss studied the ancient data. "This can't be right," she muttered, reading the translated text. "What is it?" Diaz asked. "According to this, the enemy isn't attacking us. They're running from something worse." The ship's comm system crackled. "Commander Voss, this is Earth Command. Return immediately. Siberia base has gone active." "Siberia?" Voss frowned. "What's in Siberia?" "Earth's oldest secret," the voice replied. "Something we buried 10,000 years ago." The combined Earth Council fleet gathered at the edge of Mars orbit. Ships of different designs and technologies formed a last line of defense. On the command deck of Earth's flagship Defender, Admiral Blackwood addressed the captains via holographic link. "This is our final stand," he said, his face grim. "If we fail here, Earth falls." Commander Voss stood beside him, the data cube from Mars connected to the ship's systems. "The enemy fleet will reach us in 6 hours," she reported. "But I have a plan." She brought up a holographic display of the enemy mothership. "Their command ship has a structural weakness here." She pointed to a narrow channel running through the massive vessel. "A small team could infiltrate and deploy the weapon directly." "A suicide mission," Blackwood said quietly. Voss nodded. "I'll lead it." In the war room below Siberia, President Garcia stared at the ancient technology coming to life. Symbols no human had written glowed on walls of metal that shouldn't exist. "How long has this been here?" she asked the lead scientist. "Always," he replied. "We built our bunker around it. The first governments found it during the Cold War. Ambassador Reeves studied the symbols. These match writing found on my homeworld. 10,000 years old. The same builders," the scientist confirmed. "They left these facilities across the galaxy. Why?" "We think they were preparing for war. The same war that's reached us now." A section of wall slid open, revealing a chamber filled with suspended animation pods. Inside each pod was a human body. "What is this?" Garcia demanded. The scientist looked uncomfortable. "The truth about humanity. We weren't just given technology by the precursors. We were made by them." "Made?" Reeves stepped closer to the pods. "You mean humans were engineered as warriors," the scientist said. "These are the prototypes. The first of us." In space, the battle began. Earth ships fired experimental weapons, that tore through enemy shields. Council vessels provided support, their faster engines allowing them to strike and retreat. Voss led her team toward the enemy mothership in a small stealth craft. The vessel shook as explosions lit up space around them. "Stay on course," she ordered. "We only get one shot at this." Their ship slipped through the chaos of battle, heading straight for the massive enemy vessel. On her wrist display, Voss watched Earth's defenses falling one by one. "Mars' defense line has been breached," Diaz reported. "They're heading straight for Earth." On the Defender, Blackwood made a decision he had hoped to avoid. "Deploy the nanoweapon," he ordered. His second-in-command hesitated. "Sir, that's against all treaties." "The Council will be dead if we don't," Blackwood cut him off. "Do it?" Black clouds spread through space, consuming enemy ships like acid eating through metal. The enemy fleet recoiled, changing course to avoid the deadly swarm. Voss's ship reached the mothership, attaching to its hull like a parasite. "Cutting through now," she said, activating a laser drill. "Stand by for entry." Inside the Siberian bunker, the ancient system suddenly accelerated their activation sequence. Alarms blared as energy readings spiked. "What's happening?" Garcia demanded. The scientist checked his readings, face pale with fear. "It's activating the final option protocol." "What does that mean?" "I don't know. But it's connecting to similar facilities around the world." On screens throughout the bunker, they watched as hidden structures across Earth began to power up. In the Amazon, under the Pacific, beneath Antarctica. A global network awakening after 10,000 years. Reeves stared at the readings in horror. "These energy levels, what are you activating?" "We're not activating anything," the scientist whispered. "It's responding to something else. Something coming from deep space." A new alert sounded. On the main screen, a massive signal appeared, originating from beyond the edge of the solar system. "What is that?" Garcia asked. The scientist's hands shook as he analyzed the data. "Whatever the enemy is running from. It's here." Earth's sky burned orange as enemy weapons fire broke through the atmosphere. Defense platforms returned fire, their massive energy beams cutting through clouds. From the ground, civilians watched the battle rage like angry stars fighting in daylight. Inside the enemy mothership, Commander Voss and her team fought through narrow corridors. Alien bodies fell before their weapons. The air smelled of burnt metal and strange chemicals. "Central chamber ahead," Diaz said, checking his scanner. "Heavy resistance." Voss nodded, reloading her weapon. "We push through. The weapon must reach the core." They charged forward, firing at the alien defenders. Voss took a hit to her shoulder, but kept moving. Blood soaked her uniform as she reached the central chamber. "Set the charges," she ordered, her voice strained with pain. Diaz worked quickly, attaching the device from Mars to the ship's core. "Ready." Voss checked the timer. 5 minutes. "That's cutting it close." "Commander," Diaz said, looking at his scanner. "There's no way back to our ship. Too many hostiles." Voss nodded slowly. "I know. Get the team to the escape pods. I'll make sure this detonates." "But that's an order, Lieutenant." In orbit above Earth, Admiral Blackwood watched as the enemy fleet surrounded the planet. His ship, badly damaged, limped toward the front line. "Sir," his second-in-command said, "the Galactic Council is demanding your surrender for using banned weapons." Blackwood laughed bitterly. "Tell them they can arrest me after we survive." The ship shook as another hit struck the hull. Warning lights flashed across the bridge. "Shields failing," an officer reported. "Hull breach on deck 5. Keep firing," Blackwood ordered. "Everything we have." On the main screen, he watched as the enemy mothership suddenly erupted in blue fire. The explosion spread outward, consuming nearby enemy vessels. "Voss did it," he whispered. In the Siberian bunker, the ancient technology reached full power. The ground shook as energy surged through systems dormant for millennia. "What's happening?" Garcia demanded. The scientist stared at his readings in awe. It's activating a planetary shield. Above them, a shimmering energy field spread across the sky, covering the entire planet. Enemy weapons fire struck the shield and dissipated harmlessly. The precursors built this, Reeves said in wonder. They knew this day would come. The enemy fleet, caught between Earth's defenses and the approaching signal from deep space, turned their full force on the planet. The shield held, but the strain showed as power fluctuated across the global network. It won't hold forever, the scientist warned. The system is overloading. In space, Blackwood made his final move. All ships, focus fire on their flagship. Everything you have. The combined Earth Council fleet fired as one. The enemy flagship broke apart under the assault, sending the remaining fleet into disarray. 3 days later, Admiral Blackwood stood before the Galactic Council. His uniform was torn, his face scarred from battle. You violated every treaty, the Council leader said. Used banned technology that could have destroyed us all. I saved the galaxy, Blackwood replied simply. At what cost? Reeves asked. Half of Earth's cities lie in ruins. The cost of being right, Blackwood said. We warned you. Now you know what we've been hiding. The council chambers fell silent. Finally, the leader spoke. Earth will lead our new defense force. Humanity has proven itself as warriors when we needed them most. As the council session ended, Blackwood received an urgent message. He stepped outside to take the call. Admiral, a tense voice said, deep space sensors have detected a new signal pattern, different from the enemy fleet. From where? Blackwood asked, feeling a chill. Beyond the galaxy edge. Sir, it's coming straight for us. Blackwood looked up at the stars, visible through the station's clear dome. Somewhere out there, something worse was coming. Prepare the fleet, he said quietly. The real war is just beginning.